Hello, everyone, and welcome to our second week in review for the Cyberpunk 2077 Gangs of Night City Kickstarter campaign. My name is Elena. I'm joined here today by designers Andrea Chiarvesio and
Hi.
Francesco Ruger Fretzeda and
Hello.
producer Kenneth Ten.
Hello.
How are all of you?
Yeah, great. But is our start music seems themed? Really?
It's not.
Sounds like, I guess, maybe. No, but
Uh,
it is a jump scare music. It's good. It's like
It
12
is a
12
jump.
midnight for me, and I
yeah.
woke up, so I'm
No,
I'm good to go.
it sounds a little bit like Friends theme to me when it starts. But anyway, I like it. Our start music is cool.
Yeah. Well, first of all, first things first, yes, this is my voice now. I am sorry. I'll be drinking tea throughout the whole thing, trying to stay in the contralto zone and not voice breaking zone, but I guess this will have to do. Well, it's been an exciting week. How are of you? How are all of you? Andrea was on vacation last week and he came back
Yeah.
this week. How are you, Andrea?
I've been following you actually, but I'm fine. It's nice to be back on track and back on work. It's been interesting, eh? It's been quite a ride so far, so I'm fine.
A lot was revealed this week.
Yeah.
Last week, if you joined last week, everyone, if you joined last week, you might remember that um, Kenneth's amazing miniature display setup failed us at the last moment. But now we're proud to say that it's back.
Yay! Show them.
Yay! Here it is.
Ta-da!
Yeah.
I got it
Ta-da!
working finally.
Yay!
Shall
So,
we? So while we talk, shall we just go through all the things that we missed last week?
yes, yes, you were doing your best. We all saw it, but this just I don't know. This is incredible.
Yeah.
So
So
they
these is me, male and female V.
Yeah.
I think I saw some of the people wondering who the guy was. That it was very clear that they were playing a playthrough with female V and didn't realize that there was a
Yeah.
male V option. So
yeah.
these are male and female V. They look good, but we have a lot of miniatures. So I'm just gonna go through all of the gangs. Should I? Can I?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah. Yeah.
I should
please.
Oh,
begin.
the two
Uh,
Vs are also mechanically different. So basically, they are two different edge runner mechanically wise. So they're not just a aesthetic difference.
right. We revealed the families and outcast expansion last week, so let's start with the
Yeah.
gangs.
Those are the Aldecaldos. I really love the techie there.
Yeah, this is a really cool look.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
And now I think in the next one it's probably my favorite basic unit because the Netrunner of the Wraiths is insanely good. It's so dynamic. I love it.
Yeah,
It's like
that's true.
jumping this server thing on the ground. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
I really love it.
I like the shotgun guy. I don't
Yeah.
know how
Yeah.
he's able to handle the recoil from that shotgun with
Yeah,
one
he's
hand.
not.
Just
I mean,
yeah.
yeah, but yeah, they're the
Um,
great. I really like them. I think they're my favorite aggressive gang, probably.
definitely.
Yeah.
And the Kickstarter exclusive and everybody's favorite girl, Panam Palmer.
Yeah.
The
Panem.
first time I saw her edge runner ability, I was completely blown away. It's like she can snipe
Yeah.
from anywhere to anywhere on the board, killing
Yeah.
any unit instantly. That is ridiculous.
Yeah.
That is so
I mean,
amazing.
it,
I mean,
it
that's
has
how
the
she is.
cost of discarding a big card, but you can basically bypass a firefight and just kill a unit, any unit,
Right.
like even edge runners. So
Right.
she's really interesting.
And I think we can focus a bit more on this week's optional buy release. We had Gang Wars, right? Unfortunately, I don't have scavengers with me right now, so I'll just show the
No.
other two. We have first of all, the stretch goal that we unlocked, the stretch goal gang that we unlocked.
Oh, true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sixth
we have
Street.
Sixth Street.
Sixth Street.
There was a lot of love for Sixth Street in the comments I was reading this week. They really loved the pose and the look and feel of the gang.
Yeah, their gear sure is.
Yeah,
Flashy.
I don't like playing against the Sixth Street.
Yeah, they can be a real pain playing against them.
Why? Can you tell us a
Be-
little bit more? Since this is a whole
you
game,
want
we don't have time to go through each individual stretch.
You
but
probably
just
hate
since
them
it's a
more
game.
than me as an opponent, so
Yeah, well, the point is all the tokens with the vigilantes they live around the board, which basically means that if you start a firefight there, or if anyone else starts a firefight there, you can just give them 3 points, which is terrible. So you want to go and fight. I mean, at least when I play Cyberpunk, I try to play aggressively, which I normally don't in many games, but this is like the game brings me to do it. And so having a gang that it's oh no, you well be aware if you attack there, they can have too much advantages. And maybe because I love to play as the animals, so it's
yeah,
that's
yeah,
another reason.
Yeah.
yeah.
Or
Let's
Maelstrom.
go. Maelstrom. There we go.
And here we have the animals. Yep.
Yeah.
They're much bigger than the rest
These
of the
guys
gang.
are
Yeah, I mean,
massive.
to be honest, all of
Yes.
they look like solos, but we have actually the one with the big machine gun that is the solo. The lady with the shorts is the netrunner and they have the cooling suit, and we have the one with the big hammer and the techie bag that it's of course the techie. So they can be scary, especially because with their ability they can have an extra two firepower in a firefight. And they are interesting to play because they jump to research management and opportunities, and then firefight and violence, and they jump with this weird loop that is they're very peculiar to play. Yeah,
Yeah, that's why I prefer gang to play
yeah,
by myself.
yeah. People really don't want to attack you when you have the Jewish.
Yeah. I mean, Aldecados are really nice for a totally different reason because they have such a different play style. I mean, and the boxes.
Yeah,
I actually think this is one of the more unique gangs that we have because they only have one hideout, and like the build a hideout action is to upgrade their hideout ability. That's really cool, I think.
I really like this gang. I haven't played with them, but I just really like the look. I love that one of them has my hair. Thanks. So
I'm really happy about how we ended up designing them because it really conveyed the fact that they're not really looking to dominate other district, but they still care a lot about their street cred. So they have an entirely different play style, and we have huge discussion, of course, about turtling, and we generally really don't want turtling in area control games because it tends to make the games a bit more stale, a bit more slow. But we ended up making them actually a lot very dynamic. Even if they don't have dominance, they are still encouraged to spread because they still gain stuff from presence. They still want to be involved in firefight because they will gain money or have extra firepower if they don't initiate, depending on how they upgrade. And yeah, I think they're my favorite defensive gangs. Like if I want to play aggressive, I go with the Wraiths. If I want to play defensive, I go with the Mox.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think what is good, I think, is that we proved within the game that you can really. I mean, yeah, gangs have special powers, and some special powers, of course, try to inform a little bit your playing style. But it's not that you cannot do something totally different. You can try to win a game with the Maelstrom without even starting a single fair fight, and that's achievable. You can win with Valentinos without looking for opportunities, or win with Voodoo Boys with only your starting Netrunner in play for the whole game. It's doable, it's interesting, it's kind of like setting an achievement to yourself, and the possibilities that the game offers you are so many that you can do that. Of course, if you go for the easiest route, it might be a less bumpy, but
I'm adding a thing here because we also have a conversation with people that was, of course, asking for how those the gangs work, how do we balance stuff, and I will say that Cyberpunk 2077 Gangs of Night City is most of all a game about adapting to the current situation, even with long-term goal. But the current situation and board situation is very important because sometimes following what your gang in theory is good to do is not the best choice. Like, for example, we had many games, for example, with the Voodoo Boys, it's pretty easy to say, oh, yeah, let's go full in the net. But what happens when people start blocking your fortress, start killing your runners? So you need to be ready to have a plan B always in this game, because if you go with with the most obvious choice, it will be also very easy to block you on that road. So we have many routes to gain street cred, and you need to take care of all of them. It's really hard to win just by single focusing on a single part of the game.
I mean, you can probably on your first games if everybody else is ignoring what you're doing. So, like, if nobody's noticing that the Voodoo Boys are piling up Netrunners and they start to have 3 or 4, maybe, I mean, huge rookie mistake is letting the Voodoo Boys buying Netrunner Edge Runners as soon as they are available. And then, wow, if you don't put them under control, they can really crush you. But that's usually on your first 1-2 games. Then you learn that you really don't want to let them do that. Or, I mean, you let the Valentinos going after every good opportunities out there. I mean, you must stop them before they get the chance to score too many points than with a single opportunity in the late game. That's it. I mean, it's an area control, so part of the balance and checking it's done by the players themselves at the table. They need to be aware of what's going on and not just follow your short-term goal without looking at the big picture.
Yeah, I think it's a thing, as Andrea said, that you learn after the first playthroughs. Like, the first tutorial is basically served for you to learn the game, and it will probably be hard there to also check what the other player do. Then you will play with the first story, and you start grasping with, oh, okay, story change rules, change mechanic. So you're probably there, you will have a focus on the story. And then on the third game is like you'll learn to balance. Okay, their stories there, the opponents are doing this, and just from, let's say, the third, fourth game on, the game starts to shine because you really see that they get that all the gangs seem overpowered by looking at them, but then you see, oh, they're actually balanced in a way that if people is looking at what you're doing, it's really hard to be overpowered. But yeah, I hope you play the game. And right now, again, as a reminder, there is it's free on Tabletop Simulator, the demo of the core tutorial and the story, so you can all play it and then form your own ideas with the tutorial and then the first story. And yeah.
Yeah, I see a few questions here. Let's get to them while we take a look at some minis while they keep spinning. How big are the minis? Are they the same size as Zombicide minis?
So I think some people answered in the chat. They are 32 but of course this is very subjective. We start with a baseline. A person must be standing up straight, tall, and that's the high line. For example, like women, while not trying to be sexist, we want them to be shorter and more slender. Sometimes, for example, like Evelyn Parker or Sandra Dorset, who's wearing high heels, we tend to push them up to 33, maybe 34. So in this, you can see that Sandra is actually taller than Big Joe. I'm not sure if you can see, but she is slightly taller because she has high heels. And of course, like the animals are about 34, 35. It really depends on the character's height and width, but we keep to a standard of 32 mm. Yep. Um. Yeah, I think that answered the question. Oh,
So
I
the
wanted to
answer
put.
is
Oh,
yes,
32
about the
mm.
size of the Zombicide minis.
That's correct. I wanted to point out something really interesting about the production for Kirk Sawyer and Big Joe. Uh, we meet them in the beginning of the game. We actually sent Big Joe in with who he was much smaller because we originally sculpted him much smaller. CPR was like he needs to be bigger. His arms need to be bigger. So you look at the size of his bicep. It's thick. It's thick and massive. And he's chowing down on this really big fat burger. And then we talked about Kirk, and then they were like, oh, he doesn't tuck in his shirt properly. So you can see from his other side, like his shirt tucks out from his jacket a little bit. Like this little like small attention to details really make the characters pop for me. So I was showing Sandra Dorset and Evelyn Parker. Let's see what other women we can bring out. Let's have Colina, that's the Edge Runner, and Lizzie Wizzy.
Easy.
Yeah.
Well, in the meantime, another question here.
Yeah,
A
more
question about balance. How do you stop someone who is getting ahead? Other games, it's combat, but combat here can grant them street cred.
Yeah. So, may I go, Roger?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, you're totally right. Other games are less subtle in that. Oh, yeah, let's gang up against the leader. Here, you need to use well your assets. We already try to explain. We have three different. I mean, it depends on which way they are getting ahead. Are they getting ahead through combat? Well, get ready to kick them ass in combat. So that will work. So Maelstrom are winning. Get sure they don't win any firefight anymore. Negate them firefights.
Upgrade your cards too.
Upgrade your cards, exactly. Another gang is winning by piling up opportunities. Negate them opportunities. They take them out from business point of interest. Kill their techies if you can.
Oh, not only that, I can add a thing about the
Yeah,
opportunity
sure,
because
sure.
opportunities, and this is a thing that I've noticed in the playtest that people start seeing at like fourth, fifth game, but opportunities they have a requirement usually in addition to the point of interest. So if you see, oh, this opportunity requires dominance in a district, well, you can just block that opportunity, but just by being sure that the other gang is not achieving dominance. So there are ways there.
Also, there are ways to kill units that do not involve combat. Through the net, through other opportunities. So you need to be creative. For somebody to discard a card at the right moment, simply move them units out of their comfort zone and out from places where they are scoring points. So it's less simple than, okay, let's just everybody gang up and attack the leader, which is, I mean, but absolutely, there are several ways. As we said, you will probably learn how to stop somebody that is winning, not during the tutorial game, and maybe not even in your second game. After your third game, you will notice that even a little touch to a gang can totally throw them off balance. You don't always need to go there with pure violence. Sometimes violence helps.
Sometimes violence helps. Chiarvesio Andrea. Well,
Yeah.
now for our next question. I like that we can interchange.
We need to make a book with my best quotes. I will put this definitely. Sometimes violence is helpful.
Now, a question for Kenneth, I guess. Will the sixth gang, animals and moxies, be colored?
I think everybody can answer this. Definitely, all of the gangs in the game will be colored. You can see that the four gangs in the core box are colored. The tiger claws are green, Valentinos are yellow, Voodoo Boys are purple, Maelstrom is red. The sixth gang, they are blue. Animals are orange, and Moxies are pink. And the scavengers are sort of a teal turquoise-ish color. I think Andrea had mentioned this in the comments as well. We actually took the colors from the Cyberpunk 2077 game Bible.
Yeah.
So these reference their primary color from the game. We didn't just pick a color willy-nilly.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
also did some tests about color blindness regarding the colors of the gang. So we basically picked the shades of the color that they represented in their Bible, but just made sure that they are distinguishable enough between them. Mainly because some of them share colors ish. Like the Wrights have a lot of light blue, and Sixth Street have blues. So sometimes we had to be sure they are two different shades of blue, for example. Or Valentinos are yellowish and the animals are orange-ish. And well, you also there needed to have a difference. And of course,
Those
for the edge runners, we have the base clip, the color base clip that you attach to them. So there are also an addition of difference.
Hey, I look amazing.
Oh, these are this is us. this is Andrea and me. Yeah, I mean,
Oh my
sorry,
God.
this is a KR and Orange Hibiscus.
Yeah,
I
but
was saying.
in the book of quotes by myself, I look amazing. Somebody should start taking notes.
So, I know this has been addressed in the updates, but can you tell a little bit of the story behind these figures, these
Oh,
characters? And
Well, you want to go, Andrea?
I mean, we were given this opportunity by CD Projekt Red that we could have some, a few edge runners looking just like us, and I mean that's like everybody's dream, become a character in an EP you like and love. So we created a little backstories for the characters. We worked together with CDPR to agree on the details, and then the artist and the sculpt did a wonderful job. I mean, I don't think I ever look so cool in real life. I mean, but I usually don't go around with a gun. And, but
but look great.
I mean, I love that we tried also to make the abilities a bit consistent with our psychology and what we like to play.
Yeah,
so
exactly. Can we spoil the abilities, or should we spoil the abilities?
So yeah.
So
Let's spoil the abilities.
Yeah, let's go with the abilities. Okay, well, we are both techies. First of all, it's like we felt it was coherent enough with our job. So I mean, in real life we craft games, but there we craft other stuff. So we bought comms with a drone when you hire us, and Andrea's ability when present in a firefight, Andrea will add a gun automatically if there is at least one friendly drone. And again, being a techie, it's pretty easy to bring a drone with you, so that may be very useful. Well, I activate with the techie activation disk, and basically, if you want an opportunity, and you hire me, and I'm alive and on the board, of course, you can ignore any extra requirement aside of the cost of the opportunity. So, if you like to play on the opportunity, I'm here for you. And aside from that, we actually discussed last time that every piece of equipment in the minis is stuff from the video game, and there was a little anecdote that the guns I'm holding is the Comrade's hammer that is you find in a side quest, and in my playthrough of the video game, I use it for I think more than half of the game because I loved it. It's like it was designed for me, it seems. So I really enjoyed using it in the video game. And yeah, that's it. I actually have an last request. So if you have these miniatures and you're going to paint it, please make the shirt really colored. So go with what you want.
I mean,
all those colors you never find the occasion to use. This is the time.
You have a stock of bright orange and green.
Yeah. Go with the orange flowers and what you want.
Okay, stop talking about us.
Yeah.
Another interesting question here. Sorry. Why did you decide to make upgrading combat cards a player action and not tied to the board in some way, instead of, for example, an auction with more player interaction? This is a very specific design question. Who will tackle this?
Always happy to
Yeah.
I mean, I can start, and as usual. So we actually had the previous versions. I mean, some iteration of the game, there was a market for the upgrading combat cards. What we felt it was totally missing was the element of surprise in combat. So we wanted players to be totally surprised. I mean, I think we explained in the design diary about how the combat works, that bluffing and surprising your opponent was always something we wanted to have in the combat system. And knowing that another player has a specific card will totally change your strategy, will decrease the number of firefights, and that's something we really didn't want it to happen. So for all those reasons, there is not a free and open market. There is still interaction, even if it's not that direct, because the card that you don't want, it goes at the bottom of the deck, so you can try to get rid of combat cards that you don't want the other players have access to when upgrading. So it's still interactive, even again, it's, I think something can be done. Many design choices we made with this game are less obvious than other design choices that were made for similar games. And so without playing them, it's not always, without playing the game, it's not so easy to understand why we made some choices, because, why didn't they go with the more obvious route? And I mean, by playing, you might realize that.
I can add a thing just to highlight some of the playtesting iteration moment. They're always difficult to convey. But of course, we had a kind of auction and market, as Andrea mentioned. But there was another downside, that the kind of auction of that kind made the game very slow. And we wanted the game to be really quick. Like if you've played the tutorial, or if you've played again on TTS right now, or if you've seen the playthrough, the game is actually really quick. Like it's 90 minutes once you know how to play it, and each turn is quick, just to be sure that there is not much downtime for other players. So it generally is 2 actions. And it's like 1 action, move miniatures, do the action, then another action, move miniatures, do the action, and that's it. And all the action can be done in few seconds. And with the old combat action, it was really slow. And a side note, this was also a thing that made us streamlining the combat also. The previous iteration of the combat were slower. They required you to, for example, count the miniatures that you have, count the opponent's miniatures, then apply a bonus for each miniatures, and so on. And it just didn't work. It was too slow. We believe that the new one, the combat one, with the upgrade especially, it's quick. You can iterate a lot on the combat. You can already do the firefight, and then you can even do a second firefight with the wild, and it won't take that much time.
But before I think Kenneth is done with everything we reviewed so far. While you were talking, he was just swapping the miniatures. So I see one more question, and then we'll move on to the second part of this live stream, because this is just the first half. May you please talk more about the updated solo rules of stealing a point of interest while starting a fight? Is this present?
Yeah.
Is this present to incentive the area control style?
It is actually not. I mean, it's new for you because it was released recently, but you of course are playtesting it a lot. We've playtested it for the last months, and now we reached the point that we've seen enough tests to basically say that swapping instead of kicking off make the game more dynamic and less about waiting. So in the previous version with the old rules, the one that you've seen the Quackalop playthrough, for example, or the Dice Tower playthrough, the rule was you start a firefight, you kick out all the opponent units from the point of interest, then you resolve the firefight. Then, if you want to occupy those points of interest, you need to take your second action to do that. And if you don't do that, if you, for example, free the point of interest with the second action, then you're basically freeing them for the next player, and that was bad. So this created a kind of a dynamic where players were really disincentivized to take the solo action as the second action, and we really didn't want that. With the swapping of the firefight, you can take that as the second action and still be a good action, because the next player cannot simply steal that for you with a single move. You're forcing the other to trigger a firefight if they want to swap you. So we've seen that this make the game way more dynamic and less about waiting for the precise time to attack or using your entire action to take a single action. For example, there were moments of the Valentinos wanting an opportunity or the Voodoo Boys wanting to go in the net and they didn't have a point of interest. And there was always solo action, and then with the second action, either the techie or the netrunner, and that becomes stale a bit. With the new one, we've seen a way more dynamic, so we are really happy with the change.
Yeah. Nothing to add.
Well, I think that brings us to the present, which means it's time to look into the future, because we're reviewing something.
For what they came for.
Yes. So let's take a look at what's coming up later on today. You heard it here first, folks. So this has been heavily requested from launch day. So I guess you all are as excited as we are. So what are we looking at? Who's taking this first? Kenneth, what are we looking at?
Oh, we're looking at the we're calling it the motor pool expansion. We're going to bring vehicles into the game. There's going to be 10 vehicles. There's going to be an edge runner, which we're going to leave to the end to show you guys, and a new story. I'll let the Andrea and Ruja take over.
Do you want to talk about the vehicle market and then talk about the story?
Yeah, good.
Let's start with the vehicle market.
Okay. Well,
we split the topic since.
No problem. Well, you have vehicle available to buy. I mean, there's not that much to say, but you wanted more interaction between the players and fighting them to buy stuff. Yeah, you just had it.
Yeah.
There is just like with the edge runner market, you have we have a vehicle market is not linked to being in a point of interest, so you have access to vehicles.
And it's a new dashboard, I think. Also,
yeah,
it's a new physical market.
Physical dashboard that is close to the main board, and that's really everything you want to know now without spoiling too much. And I mean, also about the story, we should not tell you that much, but yeah, there will be racing and there will be other stuff. But Roger, go ahead.
Yeah, about the story, I can proudly say with a sprinkle of guilty pleasure that is probably the most fast and furious story you can have. It's full of, let's say, explosive stuff about illegal street racing, about stealing vehicles, about it's very dynamic. It will have a lot of surprise moments for people trying to balance multiple stuff. I can say it's a story kind of in line with the subtle warfare, in the way that it's not like the Arasaka with a single branch that opens. The vehicle story has two branches already at the start of the game that go in parallel, and yeah, you can proceed in both of those, and one of those can basically conclude the game way before its time, but with a big event. So you need to be prepared for that. It's I would say it's quite explosive emotionally.
You also notice that the cars are on slightly bigger bases. So these, while the standard bases are I think 25 mm, these are 40 mm bases. Each player can only purchase 2 cars in the game, and the cars will be neutral color, and then we will provide color bases for the players. So when they buy the car, they can just attach the color base of the game color to the bottom of the car. That tells you what car.
Yeah, because
they own.
you can steal the cars, so it's better they have.
I mean,
a color base.
If you use the regular module, let's delve a bit deeper into the mechanics about how the cars works. Not the spoiler of the story, but mechanically we can talk about them. First of all, it's when and how do you acquire them? We try to brainstorm about which part of the game we wanted to put more agency in, and you actually can buy the vehicles at the end of your reclaim turn. So previously the reclaim turn didn't have a lot of agency. It basically served you to recover your discs. Of course, you could recruit units in district, so you can start planning your next series of activated turns. But now at the end of it, you can decide to buy vehicles. And if you know how the reclaim turn works, it's basically you just add some income of resource probably. So you have a big question. It's like, do you want to keep those resources for your next series of activation turn, since it's very hard in the activation turn to gain resource, or do you want to spend some of them to just acquire an interesting vehicle? And vehicles generally, they have an ability that activate when you move them with units, or the more combat-oriented one if they are present. So you want to use them and to put them in play. But they have a downside. They cost generally less than edge runners, but the downside is that if you leave them alone, like the drones, you lose them. So they return to the bottom of the deck of the vehicles, and another player in the future maybe can get hold of that. So you need to take care of them, and they can be stolen, lost in the district. So yeah.
But just to clarify, they can be used in any game, and they all have unique abilities.
Yeah, they are independent module, kind of like the Trauma Team, that you can plug and play in any game. Of course, the vehicle story, that is a requirement that you use the module, but you can also plug, let's say you want to play the Cost of Success story, the one with the Zaka Corporation, and you want to plug in vehicles, you can do that.
Yeah.
So absolutely, we've based this on modularity. So
some stories will kind of see quite a change if you're using vehicles or with some vehicles in play. So
there are so many different models.
Yeah, I think this is the Andrea's favorite.
Yeah,
it's don't play against Andrea when he has this. This is the NCPD car, and this actually, when you move it with a solo and you initiate a firefight, at the end of the firefight, you may immediately take back a used combat card. So if you are like the Maelstrom with this, don't do that.
And yes, they can be used in solo mode.
Yeah, I was going to get that question. Can vehicles be used in solo mode?
Yes. The vehicles can absolutely be used in single player mode. Of course, remember that Johnny/V will destroy every unit in a district, so you can of course use them, but just be aware of them. Take care of them.
And I mean, just like in the video game, you can abandon a vehicle everywhere, but it will get stolen. So that's why you lost it.
and you can have a maximum of 2 of them at the same time.
Yes.
So yeah.
Am I mistaken in thinking that when you lose the vehicle goes back to the vehicle market and not your reserve?
No, that's what I said before. It goes at the bottom of the vehicle.
It goes at the bottom of the
like
market.
the Edge runner, like it's lost.
Right. Okay.
So,
and then
but I
the
mean,
less, yeah.
Some
definitely.
of them have unique ways of gaining you street creds, so they are very juicy. But again, you need to take care of them.
Ooh.
Yeah, the basilisk. Yeah, that's this. This again, another thing that you don't want in the end of an aggressive gang. The basilisk, if present in a firefight, you just add 1 gun, and you even add an extra gun if you initiated the firefight. So, yeah, this is dangerous. Of course, it costs a lot. This one.
Yeah, this is kind of passive aggressive.
It's really. I think it's more aggressive than passive.
Yeah, I was going to say what's
yeah, it's
passive.
active. Yeah, it's active aggressive.
Active aggressive. Yeah. It's like, show me my car. No, here's my tank.
Exactly.
Yeah. And Kenneth, we also have the van from the side quest about the politician, right?
Yes, we do. I love that one. That has such an interesting ability.
This is the van from that side quest, and if you know which side quest I'm referencing, inside this van is all the newest tracking, spying, net running stuff that you can find. So you of course can use this in your net runs. So yes, with the Voodoo Boys, you want this. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
And finally, less car, more tank, or more mech.
Yeah,
I guess.
Yeah, this is the bipedal mech. Again, this is a more cheaper version, euro-dollar wise, of the basilisk. So let's say you don't have $4 needed for the basilisk right now. I mean, for half of the price, you can buy this. That is basically give you half of the power of the basilisk. So yeah, and again, we try to spread in the vehicles different psychometry of players. So we have some of them that are more prone to aggression and direct conflict, some of them that are more about net run, some of them about resource management opportunities, and some of them are just ways to gain more street cred and to adapt your play. So yeah, we are actually pretty happy with the pool of abilities that we ended up with.
Yeah, I think the challenge was that we were given a range of vehicles that they all look so different and they all have so different functions in the game, in the video game I'm referring, that transferring that into board game mechanics was not that easy, because you can just say, okay, everybody has a fast car and we all race with the cars for street cred. It was needed to give to each single vehicle a unique sense and purpose in the game. I think we did it. So good job, us.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I see a question. I don't see it, actually. It's a question from me. Can we see another miniature, a regular miniature, standing next to this mecha?
Sure.
Imagine parking a tank in front of your secret hideout. I think that's the passive aggressive part.
Exactly.
You just park your tank and you say, just so
Wait
you
a
know.
second. That is not just any miniatures, though. That is the edge runner of this box. So she's Claire Russell, and is an extra edge runner that you will have in this. And of course, she necessarily comes with the vehicle expansion, because in the video game, she's the one where you basically take all the illegal street race quests basically with her. I mean, for me, it was really emotional. She has a interesting background, let's say, without spoiling the video game. But those was one of the favorite conversations that I had in the game. So I really like her. And it's a techie. She's a techie, of course. So she's come with a drone when you hire her, and her ability is that when you hire her, you obtain immediately a vehicle for free if you don't want that drone. So you can she can come with a drone or with a free vehicle the first time you hire her. So yeah, she's the fit for this.
I love the pose of the miniature. It's like she's saying, "Oh, if you want to fix it by yourself, feel free do it. Feel free to try." Handing you the.
True.
So yeah, and this is just pure random anecdote, but actually at the end of a race in one of the side quests, the game thrown at me a soundtrack with the radio. It was, I think, so far my favorite from the video game. Absolutely, it's the one about the cupboards. Damn it, I don't remember the name, but sometimes I play it. It's the one. Damn it!
Is it Universe song?
No, I left the name in a second. It's in my favorite on YouTube, so pretty easy to find.
Really, really cool. Okay, so just recap in case people are joining now. This expansion comes with a module for the cars that you can plug and play in any storyline. A storyline for itself, and Claire as an edge runner.
Yeah, so there's the vehicle module comes with the vehicle market board where you can purchase vehicles. And just to reiterate again, the vehicles are not tied to the techie action. They're actually tied to your reclaim action. So you purchase vehicles in a different fashion than when you would hire an edge runner or an opportunity. This expansion is plug and play, so you can put it in any game, add any other modules that you want. The expansion comes with 10 vehicles, 1 story, and 1 specialized edge runner, Claire Russell, primarily because her ability is tied to the vehicles specifically. Yep.
Which is fair.
I think we've covered it all, yeah.
And this is coming right after we finish here, correct?
That is correct.
Oh,
yes.
Let's see Claire along with some of the babies.
Yeah. Yep. That's the motorbike. It is the one that was originally inspired by the Akira anime. It's the Yaiba Kusanagi, this one. Mm-hmm. And this is interesting. It's not that costly in the board game. It's just $1. But it has an ability that can allow you that extra movement you need. It's basically at the beginning of your activate turn, you may move a friendly unit to any other district, not even an adjacent one, for free, without spending any action disc, bringing this vehicle with that unit though. So it allows you for extra movement, but again, if you lose the unit and the vehicle is alone in a district, you also lose the vehicle. So again, be careful with this, but it can give you that extra movement you need. So yeah, there is a question about again the solo mode. We repeat, you can of course use all the vehicles in the single player mode. Absolutely.
Yeah, but not the stories together.
Not the
stories. No, the stories. Yeah, the question asks if the vehicle story can be used together. No, so the stories cannot be used together.
Yeah, let's clarify this. The single player mode is a story. It cannot be played with any other story. The stories are generally balanced for multiplayer and focused on the interaction between gangs and the corporation. In the solo mode, you already have the single player layer. So the single player game is a story, is the single player game story, basically.
It's the story of you trying to survive against me.
Yeah, and again, the single player mode story is on the tabletop simulator module right now. So if you want to try it yourself, you can play it and you'll see that it adds a lot of stuff. So
yes, speaking of that, we only have a few minutes left here. But this week, I think yesterday, we released the TTS module, the TTS demo that you can play. Anyone with TTS can play for free. So if you haven't yet, make sure to check it out. You guys want to talk about a little bit about it, of what's included, and what people can try?
Yeah. I mean, there is, of course, the tutorial, and is again strongly the one that we suggest you to play as your first game. Then we have the cost of success story. That is the story that the Dice Tower played in their playthrough. Of course, they played one branch, and I still remember they played the Act 1, Act 2B, and Act 3C. That is what I consider the bad ending. That is also very interesting, though. So if you want to maybe reach a better ending or a more uplifting ending for your gangs, try to play that story reaching another ending. And then, of course, we have the single player story mode. We also have the 2 V-Edge runner inside. So you have 12 edge runners, all the opportunities of the core box, the 4 core faction with the older components, and of course the latest version of the rule book that is still, of course, a work in progress. So
yeah, but I mean, there is version. Plenty of stuff to explore. You have 3 stories. You have, I mean, tutorial plus 2 other stories. Bring your friends. I mean, play the solo, but I think playing with your friends will really give you the feel of how the game works. So
yeah, it's really cool. I mean, we're all really excited to be able to offer this. It's not something we are able to have every time there's a campaign live. So we know the game is 1 year away from delivery, so we really encourage you to try it out, see if you like it, if it's your kind of game, and play with your friends or play the solo mission. I don't know. It's really, really cool. It's a cool opportunity to have a taste of what's to come.
Yeah, the module is 1 to 4 players, so you can then play from 1 to 4 players, and it have both sides of the board. So if you play in single player mode or in 2-player, 3-player, you have one side, and if you want to play it with 4 players, you have the other side.
Well, I think that's the time we have for today. Kenneth has an exciting update to put live on the Kickstarter as soon as we're done.
I do, but before we end, I also like to point out that today, the 1st of July, is Helena's 3rd anniversary at Simon.
Yay! It's my birthday. It's also CD Projekt Red's 20th anniversary, right? A sheer coincidence. So congrats, CD Projekt Red, as well.
Yeah, and yesterday was my 3rd wedding anniversary, but this doesn't matter now.
It does matter.
It does.
It's a whole week of celebration.
Yeah.
Congratulations. Well, thank you all for joining me. Thank you all in the audience for joining us. I hope you're having a great time at the campaign. We certainly are. We encourage you to check the game out. And any final words from you guys before we leave? Let's go clockwise. Kenneth.
The Monopoly expansion's cool. Definitely, I'll be playing around with this after I'm done. That's it. Just enjoy the TTS, I guess. I'll be playing with my toys.
Who's it?
I'm just again play the tabletop simulator module, and again, if you have comments on the module, you can just write in the page and we'll check them. And I just want to say that I'm really happy that the Iced Plum story passed the stretch goal, because it is, I think, my favorite one. So yeah.
I mean, so last word: don't play the TTS module for any reason. Stay away from it. Don't even look at it. No. But if you do, remember, violence can be helpful sometimes.
Yeah, that's what we learned today. More of today's live stream. Oh God, don't.
Well, it's reverse psychology. Come on.
No, I mean the violence thing.
Well,
don't encourage them. Well, thank
if
you
want
all.
to apply violence, play with the milestone.
Well, thank you all so much, and I hope I'll see you all soon. And we're now into the last week of the campaign. So let's see what the future holds for Cyberpunk 2077.
Yeah.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.